time we spoke, we were at the beginning of the lockdown. You
Yes.
just started doing online shows. And since then, I've heard you've done more than 30 shows.
Yeah, we've done now, I think about 45 or 50 shows over the course of the
And
lockdown.
using the behind the scenes from these shows and excerpts from these shows, you've come up with the first of its kind lockdown crowd work special. Tell me
Yes.
about this.
Well, I had zero intentions of doing another special. One has had three Netflix specials and just had one come out, so you need to pace them out. Um, I was just doing these shows online on Zoom to raise money for charity. So we were, selling 250 or 300 tickets a night, and then giving the proceeds away to a different charity every night. And because Zoom is a little weird and it's a little delayed, and you kind of need a while to warm up the audience, every night I just ask them this one question, which is, what's the first thing you're going to do when the world is normal again? What are you dreaming about? Don't think, just yell it out. And I think I kind of underestimated how vulnerable people were at the beginning of the lockdown in early March, because suddenly I started to get these very real answers, and I'm like, this is a very interesting conversation. And then people started tuning in from everywhere in the world. So people were tuning in from Costa Rica and Norway and Russia. And that normally never happens in a live show. You never have such a diverse crowd in a single comedian show. And I kind of had a revelation as an artist where I said, this might be the only time in my career where the entire world is going through the exact same thing at the exact same time. And I need to capture it. So that's what this show is. The primary objective of the show is to raise money, of course, it's a charity special, but it's about 65 people and their dreams in a lockdown from across the world. That's what my show is.
I've been reading up on online comedy shows, and my biggest learning from that is that many of them ask the audience to unmute their mics and unmute and show their videos, because
Yeah.
the oral reception of laughter is very important. Apparently, did you start off with the mics always unmuted?
Yeah, for sure. In a crowd of about 300 people, we'll unmute about 45 or 50 people. And I want to see them as well. So that's super important to me. Otherwise, that's just an Instagram live if you're just talking to yourself. And I don't particularly enjoy Instagram lives. I think they're just an existential crisis. That's all they are.
I'm sure you missed like the spontaneous dynamism of, doing shows in person. But are there any advantages to online shows?
I try and find a positive out of everything I do as an artist. So the one advantage that I see is, in a live show, when you come and see me at a stadium or at a theater or whatever, the audience is this dark mass of people who are not lit. And you've come to see me talk about my life, and I'm in the spotlight and I'm at the center of attention. Zoom is very democratic, man. We're all just a box on Zoom when you're doing a Zoom show. So for the first time, I can see into my audience's homes. I can see their life. I can see the poster on their wall. I can see the books on their shelf. I can see their parents. I can see whether their bed is tidy or not. So it's, I think, a valuable insight into not taking your audience for granted, and to really engaging with them about their life.
So who is your favorite kind of audience member? Is it a teenager with a messy bed? Is it a professional with a clean home? Who do you find to be like the best audience members?
I've had all kinds on this, man. I've had people doing all sorts of drugs. I've had somebody flushing also in the middle of my show. I've had couples who are cuddling like they're watching TV and forgetting that the TV can see them also. I've had like some kids get caught by their mom watching the show. Uh, it became a really good date night show as well. So if couples were separated, they'd watch it together. And it's all in the comedy special. We kind of kept it all in the comedy special.
All right, another important aspect is that it's all going to charity. Even the
Yeah.
proceeds of this comedy show, Inside Out, they're going
Yeah.
to charity. And all the shows you've done so far, those have also gone to charity. Veer, what are you living on? Love and fresh air?
I'm Touchwood, God has been kind over the last 5 years. I've been okay. And I have a company called Weird Ass where, 17 people work and they're doing really, really good work. We're producing web series and features. So we're all right. But, it would have been an extremely uh, just bad karma move to record a special over 30 charity shows and then just sell it to a platform for a lot of money. I don't want that kind of karma on me. So yeah, this special will support Voice of Stray Dogs, which supports stray animals, Cry India, which is doing pandemic education, Help Age India, which is doing elderly survival kits, and Doctors for You, which is doing PPE kits for frontline workers. You can choose what charity you want and how much you want to give them. So in case you like kids and you hate dogs, or you love dogs and you hate doctors, you can figure it out by yourself, and you can donate how much you want to for the hour of comedy.
That answers my question why you chose to release it on your website and not on an OTT platform.
Yeah, the first thing I did was go to Netflix for their support and say I feel like this is important, something I want to do. And I'm a Netflix guy. All my stand-up goes to Netflix first. They loved this show, but they said it's kind of important that we do this together and let you put this out. So shout out to them for doing that. And yeah, there's a very wide group of people in India, especially, who do not have subscriptions to online platforms, but who have 30 rupees to give towards charity. And why alienate that group of people in a special that is trying to do some good? So let's bring them in.
Have you had any hecklers on your online shows so far, or does like Zoom eliminate hecklers?
I think usually hecklers like being invisible, and on Zoom everybody's visible, so that's a tough one. Hecklers usually shout out obnoxious things from the dark in the corner. On Zoom, सबको ही दिखता है, so that's a tough one.
After having done 45 shows, what is your biggest takeaway from online shows from doing this?
That I want to get back on stage. It's probably my biggest takeaway. So yeah.
But when is that going to happen? When do you foresee, comedians going back on stage?
I don't know, mid next year maybe. I was talking to somebody and they were like, they were telling me, जब vaccine आएगा, you should take like the second dose of the vaccine or the third dose, the third version. And I was like, मैं first day first show लेगा vaccine का और दूसरे दिन stage पे घुसेगा. So I don't know, we'll see. I'm hoping, America has started socially distanced comedy gigs. Europe has started socially distanced comedy gigs. So India shouldn't be far behind. We just haven't hit our peak yet.
Do you think we'll ever see a massive shift permanently to online shows?
I don't think so. No, I think there is a certain humanity to theater and comedy and live music that is deeply craved by people. If you're going to watch online comedy or online shows, you want to watch really well produced. You want to watch, Stranger Things, or you want to watch, Arya, or you want to watch Patal Lok. Things that are magical and fantastical and huge. I don't think there's a lot of room for unpreparedness or spontaneity in a digital world.
Considering this is a lockdown special, are there going to be a lot of Corona jokes?
No, not at all, actually. There's like one or two up top, but nobody wants to hear that. This is a show about people's dreams, and relating to each other with dreams. There's a lady in New York who wants to get her eyebrows done, and a lady in Wuhan is agreeing with her, saying, yes, your eyebrows look terrible, you must get them done. There are couples who are separated. There are kids who don't know if they're going to go to college. There are drug addicts who are wanting to do drugs, potheads who are missing their weed, just everything.
All right. So it's like a typical Bollywood film. It has elements of everything: action, romance, tragedy.
Yeah.
I've been, I follow you online, Veer, and I've noticed that over the last few months, there's been an increase in the kind of trolling that people are experiencing online, comedians are experiencing online. Why do you think that is, and how do you deal with it?
I think it's a tantrum. I'll be very honest with you. I think all of us are living at home, and we're living at home with our families or alone. People who are basically done putting up with our shit. And we have no place to throw these tantrums that we used to throw. That's basically what it is. You used to be very eloquent on social media, and then you would go home and throw a tantrum with the people who are closest to you. And right now, the people who are closest to you are telling you to go climb a tree. So the social media is the only place that you have for these tantrums. We're all scared. We're all cranky. It's a pandemic. It's everybody's first pandemic.
It's like the first year of lockdown, so it's understandable. As comedians, you are used to saying things that are forbidden and speaking truth to power. How tough is that getting now?
I don't know, because I don't think of it as speaking truth to power. I mean, power is such a transcending river that meanders in India. One person who has power this week loses it next week. So I don't know whose power you're speaking truth to. It just has to be funny. You want to make people laugh. It always begins with that. I feel like a lot of people who cannot speak truth to power, like journalists, etc., when we say something, they're like, yeah, bol diya from the back, because they have a fractured relationship with the establishment right now. But I think we're just trying to make people laugh, to be honest.
All right. And is that getting easier or harder?
It's the same, there's always crazy people, there's always crazy reactions, but I think people are starting to understand that the protocol is, if you are offended by a joke, that's okay. That's like being offended at pollution. That's like being offended at, lack of cleanliness on the roads. That's like being offended at high taxes. Except you can do something about the last three. The joke still exists, even if you shut down the comedian.
All right. What are your future plans? You've already done a lockdown crowd work special. What else can we expect from you?
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't worn pants in 5 months, so I don't even, I don't maybe that's the first thing. Just put on a pair of pants, socks, and shoes.
All
Um,
right.
I'll probably shoot a movie end of the year. By the end of the year, I'll get into a movie.
All right. I'm sure I'll connect with you before that to find out
Yeah.
about it. Thank you so much, Veer,
Thank
for
you so
talking to
much.
me. It's been a
Cheers.
pleasure. I'm going to check this special out inside out.
See you.
See you. Bye.